Hey, come on in. Hey, how's it going?
Hi, good. Say hi, Phil.
So this is when you're breathing in and out, you're expanding and contracting. The out breath is could be considered the yang. The in breath is the yin. When you're working during the week, when you're at a 9-to-5 job, for those of you who have one of those, you're basically in a yang mode. You're kind of tighten up. On the weekends, you're bouncing out with the yin type of behavior, with the yin energy. For those of you who don't know about this logo I created for my business, this is a black panther, this is a snow leopard. So the black panther represents the southern hemisphere, the snow leopard represents the northern hemisphere. The north is kind of like the yang, which represents the heavens, the openness, and the yin, it represents the earth, which is the solid. And each of these animals are from their respective hemisphere, which is why I chose that. So once again, the Trinity, in herbalism, what this means is basically body, soul, spirit as Jing, Qi, and Shen. So to use the candle analogy, your Jing is like your wax. Your Qi is your fire. The wax produces fire when there's enough wax. When you have enough fire, you give off a lot of light. So in America, in a lot of industrial countries, folks are trying to produce a lot of fire and light through their activities, through their accomplishments, but they don't have a lot of wax. Their core has melted away, so they're trying to do things without building their Jing. This is the primal essence. This is like your prenatal life force that was given to you. And so the key with herbalism to do it right is you build your Jing. So you start with the Jing, and then that's bone marrow, that's kidneys, and that's the adrenals, that's those organs where you're going to be looking at to equip first and foremost. So what I'd like to point out why herbalism is important is because if you do it correctly, your hemispheres of your brain, right, the left and the right, they come together and you live in a state of contemplation. So it's a very balanced state to be in. It's not easy. For example, let's say, for the sake of like a visual or an idea, America is really much into concentration. They're really focused on, their dittos and their deadlines. And let's just say, for sake of example, India is too much into meditation, right? So they're not concentrating enough, and America is not meditating enough, right? But if you get the two together, you get into contemplation. And this is a Masonic piece of artwork, and it shows the ladder going to the sun. So when you're in contemplation, you're able to reach higher states of enlightenment. So that's kind of the idea behind that. So tonics are safe to use for daily maintenance. So tonic herbs are like food; you can use them every day. They're not like They're not medicinal herbs. There are medicinal herbs out there that you use when you're sick, when you have a certain problem going on. But tonics you use every day, just like you would in a food that's good for you. So energetically speaking, we have foods that are yin and foods that are yang. So salt is the ultimate yang food, and sugar is the ultimate yin food. If you have a salty meal, you want dessert, so you might drink juice, or you might have ice cream with your Mongolian beef or salty fish. Salty fish and liquor, alcohol has, energetically speaking, has a yin component. That's why people, when they eat salty fish, they crave like a hard liquor with that to help break that food down. I'm not advocating any of these things. I'm just talking about their energy. So just so you understand that. All right. So the 5 organ systems: liver, kidney, heart, spleen, and lungs. But these organ systems are not just physical organs. These are organs that actually have like etherical, energetic properties to them in your body that are also elemental, and they have affinities for different tastes. So liver, sour; kidney, salty; heart, bitter; spleen is sweet; lungs is spicy. Like you don't want to ever get rid of all salt because you're going to throw out your kidneys, right? If you get rid of all sweets, you're going to throw out your spleen and your stomach. But you want living salt and you want living sugars. You want like maple syrup, raw honeys. You want Himalayan salt, Celtic sea salt. So you're not getting rid of. Hey, all right, come on in.
Come on in.
Hey, I
Careful with the technology.
Yeah. New hat, huh?
I'm gonna bring out another chair right here. So I'm gonna get into 4 of the organ systems since we're basically focusing on 4. I'm gonna skip the heart. But a lot of the lung tonics are also good for the heart. But the heart one is a whole other area that requires merits its own attention, because the heart is actually also the mind. The heart is actually consciousness within this system. So that'll be another day. So the kidney organ system tied to the adrenals, reproductive system, skeletal structure, bone marrow. So your bones are not just calcified. They're not just brittle rocks. They're not stones. Your bones are very juicy. At least they're supposed to be juicy. They're supposed to have red marrow, yellow marrow. There's synovial fluids going through the joints, and you have to nourish your bone marrow in order to basically stay alive. And the kidneys are responsible for fluid transmission through the body. So healthy kidneys are going to be healthy bone marrow. So a lot of these herbs are very kidney focused for that reason. Some other things that the kidneys do, they're actually affecting brain function and cognition directly, because your brain is about 85% water, by weight, and so you need a lot of salt water distribution. We're basically saltwater beings. We have like an ocean inside of us. So all that kind of stuff is related to the kidney system. The liver is actually like the daughter to the kidneys is the mother. When you're sleeping, the liver holds a lot of blood and works on it for you. Liver is also associated with the wood element of creativity. When people are lacking, let's say, ambition, or just not having they're not motivated, liver stagnation, right? They're not tied into the wood element of their essence. If you have a wooden floor at your house, don't put a carpet on it. You know, if you can, you want to work with that element of wood in your environment. You want that. Right. So the spleen. The spleen is one of the most underestimated organs. It's right here on the left side. It actually has 2 functions. It has digestive function. It has immunity functions. It's basically part of the lymphatic system, so it's helping distribute lymph fluid through your body, so you have white blood cells, and it's also drawing chi out of food and putting that chi into the blood. So the spleen is basically helping to generate body fluids. So the spleen is also responsible for keeping the gravity in your central organs in place. So keeping things from prolapsing. It keeps the blood in the vessel. Somebody who has internal bleeding, that could be tied to spleen function. Muscle tone and tightness. So people that have getting flabby muscles, that also could be tied to spleen imbalance. So lips and mouth. Not including the tongue, but the lips and mouth are tied to the spleen as well too. So full textured lips, it means that the spleen is working right. So now for the lung organ system. So lungs are definitely tied to emotions because emotions are tied to breathing. If something is not right with you at the moment emotionally, you're probably not breathing all the way through. So the quality of your breathing is tied to the quality of your lungs, and vice versa. So also people that have allergies like eczema or asthma, those things are related. A lot of times when people have a skin allergy, it's because their lungs are not acting properly, and so there is a problem in the skin. The lungs also produce defensive energy called Wei Qi, right? Wei Qi, say it? Wei Qi, yeah. So this is basically creating like a force field around you. So when the cold air hits you, or the wind hits you, or the rain hits you, you have a force field of protection. The lungs are also exposed to viruses, first and foremost, more than any other vital organ. So for example, when my dad passed away in December of 2013, he was unconscious due to a stroke. He was in a nursing home. His mouth was open. His immune system was compromised. He wasn't moving. He caught a virus in his lungs, which basically resulted in the pulmonary problem and the heart failure, because basically the lungs are exposed to viruses more than anything else, and so protecting your lungs is a good immunity strategy altogether. So learning how to do that is important. And all of this, basically, I'm assuming you guys know that with all of this, fitness and movement and outdoor activities kind of comes with this. I don't have time to go into all of that, but I'm assuming everyone knows you got to keep moving. You got to stay fit, do your workouts and so forth. Herbal delivery systems. So the ones in red, I put in red because these are probably the ones that are most underutilized. And I'm getting deep into honey, using honey as a delivery system, because honey keeps you compliant. Like if the stuff doesn't taste good, you're not going to use it. I find that maple syrup and honey keep me compliant with my herbs more so than like water, even sometimes. If you have standing vinegar that you're going to be using over and over for a period of a month, like a jar of it or something, put something in your vinegar. That will extract it. Chocolate. A company called Sacred Chocolate, they're putting herbs in chocolate. Other companies are doing that too. Cacao is a very good delivery system for the herbs because it's a vasodilator. It dilates your blood vessels. So it's going to basically allow you to transmit your herbs more thoroughly through your body and whatever else you're eating as well too. So coffee, I drink coffee every day. I have a mushroom coffee. It's an immunity coffee. It has like 6 different mushrooms in it. So they now figured out how to put mushroom extracts on coffee beans, and that is really fantastic. So that's really good news. So the super Jing Herbs, we're talking about starting with the Jing Herbs. This is like your battery pack. This is your wax and your candle. The top these are in the top 10 of the Jing Herbs. These are these 6. So the drink that I'm making back there has 3 of them in there as well. So sometime within the next 30 days, you should incorporate these 6 herbs into your life to start building the battery pack from the kidney adrenal organ system. And I will email this to you, like I mentioned, if you need a copy. So there are Yang Jing Herbs and there are Yin Jing Herbs. Okay, so on that other slide, Goji is a Yin Jing herb. Okay, Yukomi is Yin. Is that a Yang Jing or Yin? Yeah. So basically, deer antler is both. Some of the super herbs are both. Deer antler is basically tonifies every treasure. It's both yin and yang. It's a super herb. Like if you're doing a presentation of it like this, you want to like take a nice swig of that. It'll help you out. Romania root and Dendrobium orchid. These are yin jing. These are basically moistening the glands. They are cooling the body. So I have Romania root in the drink that I'm making. So as we get older, we dry up and we overheat our organs. That is, right? So these Jing herbs, like the goji berries, like the rhamanium, like the hoshu and the dendrobium orchid, will keep your body cool and keep you from overheating. So here's some more about the euphorbium. This is the only rubber tree that is grown in the temperate climates. So it's very. Ranch 99 has euphorbium. Right across the street, there's euphorbium sold in a box, for a few bucks. I mean, this is basically like it's available. It's not out of control. So hoshu wu, out of all the Jing herbs, if you're gonna do only one, hoshu wu is one of the best ones to start with because it has the broadest spectrum of support in terms of bone marrow, stem cell, just all kinds of stuff going on with hoshu wu. It's like it refers to Mr. Black Hair. That's what it means because basically the fluids transmit to your hair and it helps your hair keeps from growing gray if you're keeping this in your diet. Not forever, but it will postpone that a little bit. So that, and then Schizandra out of the Jing herb is the number one for the liver. So if someone needs something for the liver and they only do one herb for the liver, Schizandra berry for the liver. It's also an antioxidant. Pigment, I have some of those. So the tonic that I'm making has 5 of these, and that's also one of them. Wu Wei Zi has all 5 flavors. It's probably the only food that has all 5 flavors to it. So this is the deer that Dragon Herbs uses in their tincture. It's a special deer that's very well protected because deer antler is not cheap. All right. So now we're into the fire. So for people that actually now want to need the energy to get going, these are pretty much the 5 super chi tonics out of the Chinese system. And the ant is something that I've been experiencing. Ants could lift a couple hundred pounds their weight, some of them. And so compared to eating an ant versus eating a chicken, what can a chicken do compared to what an ant can do? So when you're talking about eating an animal that has some capacity to it, right? An ant, I would say, on a nutrient level, is a lot more nutrient dense than a chicken. So a chicken cannot lift 50 times his body weight. It's not going to happen. So there's ways to make this palatable. That's called honey maple syrup. And like chimps eat ants, and they can really kick butt compared to humans. So there's some examples out there. So a lot of the chi tonics are spleen and lungs. A lot of the Jing is liver and kidney. A lot of the chi tonics are spleen and lungs. So astragalus, cordyceps, the ginseng, Cordyceps, American ginseng, and dong quai. Dong quai is a blood building, very good for blood creation. It's rich in B12 and cobalt. It's an angelica plant, and for women that are having blood deficiency problems, this is a really good herb to start with. But men can benefit too. So astragalus, yeah, I know. Tom, how's your astragalus experience?
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Tom's using Dragon Herb astragalus, and he's still here against all odds. He made it to another workshop.
Good.
So now the Shen. So this is basically you're getting into lungs and heart. But anytime you see lung, you're talking about also immune system because it goes back to protect the lungs are like kind of the gatekeepers, keeping the viruses at bay from getting into your bloodstream. That's a shaga mushroom, grows on birch trees. Also has properties to protect your cells from becoming carcinogenic. It has very special things to it. It has a vanilla kind of overtone to it. So if you push shaga is the best tasting out of all the Shen herbs, I think. It does wonders to your drinks. You can mix it into anything. And Far West Fungi in the Ferry Building is where I get my shaga chunks. All right. Polygala is good for taking a night for dreaming. All right, so here's some more on polygala. So polygala is part of a formula called willpower. It's a very popular formula from Dragon Herbs. So it connects the heart organ system to the kidney organ system. So basically, makes you kind of, let's say, more respective of your environment, just generally speaking. Yeah, this is a purple reishi, so that's what's cooking in a tonic. So yeah, back to the story when my dad was on his last 13 days and I was in ICU and you know, communicating with different people and doctors and being in the hospital, I was taking 10 capsules a day of a standardized reishi product, 10 capsules a day to stabilize my heart rhythms. So reishi is good for stabilizing the heart and protecting your blood vessels. Yeah. All right. So taking stress seriously. So everyone knows that stress damages the immune system, right? Everybody's aware of that. It basically, what it does, the steroids that your body creates from excess stress affects your B cells, which are part of your white blood cell system. It also creates inflammation. So these are some of the tonic herbs that are great for stress overall. But if you can keep viruses at bay and you can keep stress down, right, you're pretty much going to be in good shape. Viruses and stress are the two main causes of flus and colds and the basic type of things that people get sick from. So the thymus gland is also tied to bone marrow. So you have stem cells coming out of the bone marrow, they go to the thymus gland, they become T cells. When you get a virus overload, your T cells become exhausted, right? The reason why every infection, every illness is more dangerous for somebody who's over 50 is because they have older T cells. Their T cells are exhausted. They're not as effective as combating illnesses. So you basically want to protect your body from viruses, and these are pretty much the 6 antiviral super tonic herbs that I like to point people to, and they do a great job. So you see some of these are coming up over and over again. Goji, astragalus, reishi. They keep kind of coming back over and over again. So we have the goji, wild reishi hunters. And this, so the Cordyceps mushroom, this is like the most expensive produce in the world. So my last trip to Chinatown a few days ago, it was no longer $900 an ounce. It was now $1,880 for $1,880 for an ounce of wild cordyceps. And basically, it's a parasite, and it takes over the bodies of insects, and like Ken likes to say, turns them into a zombie, makes them climb a tree, and then from there they can shoot their spores out or whatever they do, right? Different kinds of cordyceps live in different climates, but the ones that we consume in the Chinese herbal system are usually parasiting caterpillars, and they're coming from, you could do silkworms too, and the expensive ones are coming from the foothills of the Himalayas. And the Chinese athletes use cordyceps to improve lung function and helps them win gold medals and silver medals. So,
where's that picture of wild reishi coming from?
I'm not sure. Yeah, it looks abundant though.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere, probably North America. All right, so let me see. Okay, so back to the bone marrow. I want you guys to get a visual. So our bone's supposed to be juicy. It's supposed to have marrow in them, yellow and red marrow. That marrow then becomes white blood cells. It becomes red blood cells, and then your immune system is created from that, right? So you got to nourish the bone marrow, and you need adult stem cells to migrate out of the bone marrow and become all these other tissues and other cells. So these are some of the herbs that are showing to be nourishing of the bone marrow. So that's a good thing. All right. So for those, there's some people here who don't know about my Freedom Bar idea, but some do. So I'm envisioning like 50 years from now that most of the recreational alcohol venues will be converted into tonic elixir bars. Oops. Yeah. Yeah, good idea. Will be converted into tonic elixir bars. So this is in LA. This is a place called Dragon Herbs Elixir Bar. So it's a very elegant place. Instead of having different beers and liquors and syrups, they have all those herbs that we talked about. They're in these little dispensers. So people are making teas, they're making coffees, they're making other kinds of drinks, and they're using these herbs. And right now, there's an herb bar in Berkeley opened up 3 weeks ago called Mellow Mellow Kava Bar. So you guys should go check it out and support that. They're open from 12 to 12. Mellow Mellow Kava Bar. So they're not doing Chinese herbs. They're doing kava, which is a Polynesian herb, but it's kind of a social lubricant as well. It breaks down barriers, makes you communicative. So a lot of these herbs will put you in a giddy mood. They'll make you want to talk and hang out and dance and stuff. So I was at the Women's Wellness Conference last September. And I want to start saying this because this is important information. And there was a doctor, he was an OMD, Oriental Medical Doctor, a Master Herbalist, Roy Dittman. He has a foundation called the Brighton Baby Foundation. He's teaching couples how to optimize their blood and their genetics pre-conception. It's called perinatal preparation. So how to kind of de-age the egg and do other things to the body to where when they conceive, the baby will have the child will have the greatest genetic expression that could possibly take place from that couple. And so I see the Freedom Bar idea, the conversion of alcohol venues into tonic bars, as being connected to that. So when young couples are going out, they're putting stuff in their body that makes them even healthier than the day before, than the day before they went out. Versus when they go to a recreational alcohol bar, they actually are downgrading their genetics through dehydration and through acidity and various things. So this is basically like, if you guys want to know about this doctor who's really organizing this movement of preparing couples' bodies, let me on your email put that down, and I will send you links and stuff like that. So I'm tying this all in together, right? Because those of us who are going to be here on this planet for another 50 years. If you're like under 45, you're probably going to be here for another 50 years. That means 3 generations of young people that don't yet exist are going to grow up around you. So even if you're not working with them or raising them, they're still going to be in your energy. They're still going to be creating reality within your reality. So you want those young people to be expressing their genetics in an optimal way, even if you're not personally involved with them. You understand what I'm saying? Everyone guess why that's probably a good idea? All right, so that. So this is the book to start with. If you need a book on Chinese tonic herbs, this is the beginning one. This is where this is going to get you pointed in the right direction. Okay, so close it off. Back to the Trinity. Another way of talking about the Trinity is talking about your thoughts, your actions, and emotions. This is not easy. It looks easy. Yeah, my thoughts and actions and emotions should be all aligned. That kind of sounds like it's possible, but it's really not that easy. We often are thinking and feeling, but our actions don't correlate with our thoughts and our emotions. If you can get all 3 aligned as often as you can, you will experience this type of hemispheric synchronicity more often. And so that goes back to the tonic herbs will help you keep this in balance, and then experiencing truth, love, and freedom a lot more often. So I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I just would like to know if you're supposed to take these tonics on an empty stomach or just put them in your food, or how does that work?
It's all the above. Different effects. You have different experiences from different ways of doing it. So like a lot of the very like mushroom science, dragon herbs, a lot of these companies have really high quality products with no fillers, no additives in them. You can take them on an empty stomach, and you'll actually feel them more. So it depends on the quality of the products you're taking too. If you're cooking herbs like we're cooking now, your stomach could be empty because it's basically it's kind of like a soup or a tea. But it's going to depend from product to product, from method to method. Yeah. Anybody else? So your presentation is on will be after, but you'll be later on. But just so you know, you're on that. Okay, so we're gonna take a little tonic break. I'm gonna serve some drinks to folks that are thirsty, and then Mary will do RBC Life stem cell nutrition presentation. Okay.
So when she came over, she said it was today because she hasn't called me.
Maybe she got me.
You think afterwards we know where to buy food?
That's possible.
I'm gonna make a list tonight of the computer.